What's up, manga fans? This is Raphael from See Manga, and welcome back to another review of the Breaker New Waves. This week's chapter 187. Now, I was pleasantly surprised to see that the chapter came out a day early this week, after the hiatus we had last week. And I never ever doubt these the author and the artist when they go on a break, because I usually think, you know what, next week's going to be that much better then, because they got more time to work on it. And they didn't I'd say disappoint. This chapter was brilliant. It was so much action in it. It was definitely one of those action-packed chapters, so if you're a fan of the series that only really enjoy the fighting, this chapter was definitely for you. And I was definitely getting that the end of the first part of the Breaker, the original series. I was getting a vibe from that with the immense action that was going on in this. And even down to simple things like the key output that Elder Kwon and Chun-Woo was exerting, the immense density and large, you might also say, scale of it, definitely felt like it was, taking a bit from Dragon Ball Z, because when they were kind of powering up kind of thing, I was like, yeah, this is intense. But when they finally got down to business, I was so impressed by the ridiculous amount of power between each clash. It was like in an instant, as soon as they finished powering, they're charging their ki, they've clashed and no one really saw what happened. And when they see now that like the light and the dust is cleared, they're obviously fist to fist together, like clashing. And then after that, we just have amazing speed, obviously darting around the place, particularly from Chun-Woo. And speaking of Chun-Woo, the attack he used in this chapter was brilliant. But what I've noticed is lately they seem to start titling special attacks in the panels. I can't actually remember if that was done in the original series, but I've definitely noticed that lately, where they have the title and obviously the Korean symbols for the title, like in the chapter with Shi-Woon where he used the Phantom Kick. And this chapter was no exception when Chun-Woo used the Heavenly Exploding Penetration Strike. And I was like, I'm really loving the way they're doing this. It feels a bit cliche. They're just like, like Phantom Kick, Heavily Exploding Penetration Strike. I can just imagine a narrator over the top, like shouting this out or something. But it's really good. I did enjoy that. And the attack itself, the name definitely speaks for itself, because when Elder Kwon attempted to block it now, he realized that the attack was indeed penetrating and going through his defenses. But luckily he was able to notice this just as the last second, and he swayed away. But unfortunately, it's like moments like this where you think Elder Kwon's going to make a counter attack. You can see majority of this fight that he is being overwhelmed by Chun-Woo, and it was definitely giving me flashbacks to the Chun-Woo versus Kang-Sung fight. And as I said, in the instance when he dodged Chun-Woo's penetrating strike attack thing, he's obviously attempted to counter this, but Chun-Woo's already on him with a roundhouse, and from then on you pretty much see the same kind of thing. Elder Kwon is literally struggling to fight back. But one thing I'd like to say, I have to give credit to Jung-Shan. He, as annoying as he is quite perceptive when he wants to be, and he did realize from the beginning of the fight that the amount of ki they're using was literally, they're going all out, they're going to use their finishes already, and either one of these people, opponents, can die with the amount of ki they're using. And he also obviously was describing the explosions that were caused by the ki collisions, and he's surprised that Elder Kwon is much stronger than he believes to be. He was like, Chun-Woo, yeah, the 9-arch dragon, doesn't surprise him, but Elder Kwon has surpassed these expectations. So he, in that regard, he was a bit humble. He's still an arsehole, no, I admit, but yeah, I did kind of like that we got a bit of inner monologue from someone else, like analyzing the scene and what's going on in the fight. And we even have, I'd say, a very well put comment from Cool Guy and G-Gun, when they was like, anyone who would get close would be destroyed. This duel is a duel between masters of masters, so they're like, let alone getting hit, if they got anywhere near, they would be obliterated. And it's true, because even at the start of the fight, Chun-Woo slapped back that girl, I can't remember if it was Lisa or something, and he's saying, you fool, you didn't even analyze the opponent before you went and charged ahead. Where do you think you are? So that's the kind of fight it is. You lot are all low levels. You can't get involved in this fight. So there was actually more, I'd say, monologuing in this chapter, when we actually had an interesting but sad thought from Kwon, where he had this kind of resigned face on him, where he's, you know, resigned himself to, you know, what will happen at the end of this fight, and it seems like he knows that he's going to lose this, most likely die. And he was actually admiring Chun-Woo's skills, saying that, you know, the Nine Arts Dragon lives up to the rumors, but he was obviously kind of downhearted that he couldn't duel Chun-Woo in his normal state, as we already know that he is not at his best right now. And Chun-Woo even elaborates further on this when he realizes that Elder Kwon's key network has been ruptured, making him unable to fight properly. So from this, he's wasted no time. He's going to take the advantage and try to finish Kwon off. And I was a bit skeptical. I was thinking, at this point, either Kwon's going to get saved or he's going to lose right here and now. And just as we think the finishing blow is going to come from Chun-Woo, who pops in, Shi-Woon comes flying in with or soaring in, I should say, with a flying kick to protect Kwon. And everyone's just thinking, this idiot, what is he doing? Why is he getting involved? And I'm sorry, I don't care. He's not an idiot. He came in at the right moment. He showed what kind of badass he is. And yeah, I think it was well needed. Him intervening needed to happen. I didn't want this to be him being babied again. I want him to take control of this fight, as I said before. And I think he's definitely maturing more and more. The way he was speaking to Elder Kwon at the end of the chapter was brilliant. He was using his authority and rank, and he's like asking Elder Kwon, what am I to you? Obviously Elder Kwon says, you're the leader of the Sun-Woo clan and my liege. And Shi-Woon's response was, that's right, then I'll order you, do not meddle in what I'm about to do, no matter what happens. And I was just like, wow, that was brilliant. Like, I've heard Shi-Woon give orders before, but you can tell this time he's peed off. Not at Elder Kwon, probably more at himself, what's happening, because he doesn't want, obviously, what to happen. What happened to Elder Jung to happen to Elder Kwon. You can't lose another person. He's annoyed at, obviously, Chun-Woo. He's told him to stop and everything, and you can tell he really wants to deal with this. Everything that's happened, he's just frustrated with the whole situation. So I can imagine he wants to take matters into his own hands and finish it. So finally, are we going to have an uninterrupted Shi-Woon versus Chun-Woo? I really want them to make this happen, and I feel like Black Origin threshold will happen. I want to see Shi-Woon use this. I want him to have it under some sort of control, and I want him to shock Chun-Woo and show him that he is the true disciple of the Nine Arts Dragon, and then we'll see what happens from them. But I definitely want this fight to happen. I want Shi-Woon to show everyone that he has matured, both physically, mentally, and everything else. Wise, he's become everything like that. I just want him to prove his worth, that he's not a child anymore. He is, you know, worthy of being called a Muramin master. So yeah, definitely enjoyed this chapter. Lots of fighting. I can't wait for next week. So you guys know the usual. If you enjoyed this chapter, leave it in the comment box below, any of your thoughts about this, and I'll join you guys next week. So speak to you later.